there was like this thick membrane around it, and it was like I tried biting into it and I couldn't pierce it. I had to like chew on it and like pierce it with like whatever that tooth is. And just like I remember, like growing up as a kid, the last thing I want to do is like watch reality TV.
You're somewhat close to Jeff now because you're dating his niece, right?
Yeah, what a turn of events. Like that was kind of crazy. I mean,
an hour, 2 hours later, like into sleep, I got up. We were on the second floor. I literally Superman, like dove through the glass window, broke the pane glass, everything.
When I was doing my audition tape, I was like picturing myself like giving a confessional on an island. So I remember I was like sitting on a rock. When really the most important thing that they need to know from the video is like,
we're here for a brand new episode of The Survivor Effect. And with me, we have Austin Lee Coon from Survivor 45. Runner-up, Austin, I mean, dude, you played a great game. I loved your season, right? You had a lot of great characters, but I think I think I relate to you in a lot of ways. But
it's crazy, like 45, part of me is like, it was just like yesterday I was out there. And then like when I sit down and think of it, it's like, holy cow, it's like, it was 3 years ago I played, we're on season 50 and like, next time I blink, it's going to be season 60. And it's just like, I'm going to be old school, but yeah, it's awesome. And the memories are like painted in my brain as if it was just yesterday.
Super excited. Let's dive right in right from the beginning, right? So kind of just explain your relationship with Survivor. Like, how did you first come about it? How did you hear about it? What led you to eventually applying?
Yeah, man. Okay, so it was a long and short journey, I think. So my mom was really who got me into Survivor. She started day one, episode 1, Borneo, and has never missed an episode. Watched every single episode, every single season. I didn't get into it until like right before Winners at War. It was 2019, and I remember, like growing up as a kid, the last thing I want to do is like watch reality TV. I would rather play my video games. I'd rather watch, the Sharks play hockey. I would rather, go on Cartoon Network, whatever. Like it all sounded better to me. But then I just remembered, one, I feel like it was like over like a Christmas break. And I came back home from work, and my mom, she would always watch these episodes by herself, just sit on the couch and like watch religiously. And one day I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna, I'm here for the holidays. I might as well spend time with my mom. I sat down next to her, just started watching. I don't even remember what season it was playing. It's probably 39 or 38 or something. But I immediately just got hooked on that one episode. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So then I went to the beginning. I actually started in season 3 because going from like season 39 to season 1 was super jarring. And I wasn't ready for the 480p or whatever it was. I skipped Thailand after watching a few episodes of that. But besides Thailand and Borneo, I came back and ended up watching Australia. Those are the only 2 seasons I hadn't seen. I just binged it like crazy. And pretty much immediately, like within the first couple episodes that I watched, it became like my mission to play Survivor because it just looked so fun. It looked like everything that I love doing just like brought into like one game. And like I really wanted to test myself, see how far I could push myself. I wanted to play the game, find the idols. And like because I like watched a lot of like the early old era to start, like my mind was very much in like, oh, I want to do these challenges and I want to like, play this like loyal game, do all, and like I have this very old school mentality going up front. And I just fell in love with the game. I binged the whole thing. The first time I applied was like after I'd watched season, maybe like, I think it was Fiji where Earl won. So yeah, very old school application. I didn't get called back. I waited 3 more years to apply again. During those 3 years, I finished watching the rest of the series. Pretty much the only show I would watch was Survivor. And I just became obsessed with it. It became like my life mission to be on the show. There was truly nothing I wanted more in life than to play Survivor. And it's crazy to, now.
I was just going to say, dude, and you made it happen. Like, that's so crazy. And I mean, it's just really cool to see that, that was one of your, if not your biggest dream and goal in life, and you did it. So congrats on that. And that's just awesome.
Appreciate it, man. And I will say, it's like, I very much feel like I'm more like, I'm a pretty regular dude, especially like, when I was applying and everything, I didn't feel like I had like, the special quirks of like a Coach or a Tony or a Carolyn or all those, legendary fun characters. I was just like a regular guy. And it just was such an obsession for me. And I really like studied like, how can I like become more interesting? How can I do cool things and prepare myself and just be a more interesting person on screen? And yeah, it worked out. And I really think it's like, if you have that desire and you really want to do it, like it's going to happen. You can make it happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. So to everyone out there listening, hey, if you're trying to get out there, please just apply. Like Jeff always says, like every episode, like just get out there and apply. And I mean, you got to be you're somewhat close to Jeff now because you're dating his niece, right?
Yeah. What a turn of events. Like that was kind of crazy. I mean,
when I found out about that, I was so happy for you. And I was like, dude, that's so cool though. Like, do you see Jeff at like family Thanksgiving?
We haven't had a Thanksgiving together yet. It's kind of a weird relationship in a way because I've seen him a few times, how we'll have like margaritas or pizza or whatever, but like, I'm not like hanging out with him. And I think for good reason, he keeps his distance from players because, then there are a lot of issues with like, like for example, like I don't think I can play right now again because, there's a conflict of interest potentially just because, Jeff knows that I'm dating his niece and like, even though they wouldn't rig anything, like say like, I do a shot in the dark and it hits, people are going to be like, wow, this is rigged, whatever. Right. So I think for those reasons and just like to keep it separate, like his friendship separate from the game, we're not like hanging out all the time, just like he's not hanging out with, Parvati or whoever, so.
Mm-hmm. You and I were chatting a bit before we recorded, and you mentioned something about, you worked on just bettering yourself, I guess, and like preparing yourself and things. Did you do anything? I think you said you wanted to tell better stories. Did you take any action on that? Because I'm actually reading this book right now and it's called Storyworthy. Have you ever seen this book?
I haven't, but that's the kind of stuff that is really impactful. I mean, I forget what exactly I read and things like that, but I remember being like, I need to challenge myself to do more like public speaking, to like present more, to try chatting with random people more. And I would almost think of it like training, like, oh man, there's a stranger over there. And like, I would never want to go up and talk to them, but like, this is good practice. You need to be able to be friends with anybody and like start. And it's like, I'm going to just do it and just like go and just chat up this random person on the bus or whatever. And just like those little micro moves I would try like consciously working towards.
Yeah, honestly, for anyone whoever is like looking to tell better stories, I'm gonna link it in the description because I just picked up this book like last week and I'm already like halfway done with it. It's incredible.
Oh, that's awesome.
When you finally got that call, right? And it's like you were in. You got the offer. They're like, we want you on. So how did that what did those next few weeks look like, right? Like how did you just set your life up to just disappear for 5 weeks?
Well, I mean, it was a little weirder for me because I never was told that I was going to be on. I was told that I was going to be the alternate. So I applied in August. I went through 4 or 5 months of casting, which was like, maybe like a dozen different phone or Zoom interviews with like different people in production and Jeff and Matt and like all the casting teams. Eventually they fly you out to LA, you do the final rounds. And then like during all these things, like they'll go silent for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks at a time. And you won't hear anything, you're on your edge of your seat, just wondering like, oh, am I making it to the next round? Whatever. Finally had the final rounds of casting, came back, was waiting for a few weeks, got a call and basically was told like, hey, we're sorry, but we don't have a spot for you on this season. We ran the, they have like pictures of all the cast members that they're like considering on a table and they're like moving around the different faces because it's like, they're really trying to fit a puzzle together for each season. And there's so much luck that goes into like, will you be on this season or the next season or 10 seasons from now? Because it's like, they need tribes that, they think are going to be balanced at least, that, they have like a good range of different personalities and jobs and, diversity and all this stuff. And basically I was told you're number 11. Like we are so sorry, but like you just missed the cut. And that was like a stab to the heart. Because the entire time going through casting, I wasn't letting myself be like, I'm going to play Survivor. the entire time I was like, I'm not going to play. This is just a cool experience. I get to go through casting. It's such a, an honor to even be considered this far. But finally, it was like leading up to the final decision is when I was finally like, I just need one more yes, and I'm officially playing. So I obviously was starting to get excited. They said, and it was the day of the 44 premiere when I got that call saying like, you didn't make it. You're going to be the alternate. And basically what they said was, you have, 2 days to tell us if you want to accept your role as the alternate. Basically what this means is you're going to have to do every single thing that all the players have to do, from finding your clothes and buying, sending in wardrobe things. You have to do all the press. You have to do, X, Y, and Z. You have to fly out to LA and then to Fiji, and you have to go into Ponderosa for the pregame. And then when the game starts, you go home as if nothing happened. And, obviously it's a huge time commitment. And
I was going to say huge commitment.
And it's like, and they're like, there's a chance, for example, season 43, Gio, he was an alternate. He got pulled in, and like, they were giving me other examples of alternates get pulled in. They're like, yeah, you probably have, maybe like a 20% chance or something, but it's impossible to know. So you have to do all this effort and prepare as if you actually are going to be playing, just knowing that most likely you're not going to be playing. And that was really tough for me mentally because, I was prepared. I was like, if I get this call, at the time I was in grad school, I was like, if I get this call, I'm dropping out of school for this quarter, and I'm just going to be training 6 hours a day. I'm going to be studying Survivor. I'm going to rewatch everything. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to study the puzzles. I'm going to be like doing mad training on my forearms and my legs and my balance, and just like be as ready as possible. But because I was in this like in between state, I was like, well, I'm going back to school. I'm not going to drop out. I'm going to just like live my life normally, but like still try to prepare as best I can. And so I did that, like I was working out 2-3 hours a day, and like I was still watching, like I didn't go to parties, and I wasn't watching anything besides Survivor because I was just like spending my time focused on this. But it was a toll for sure, because it was just like I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought, I was like, am I just doing this for nothing? But then obviously I was told I was going to play, and I got that official yes 3 days before the game started. And at this point, I was already in Fiji. And what I did, sorry, this is a really long,
dude.
long
no, it's great. Keep going.
Basically, what I did was, before I left to Fiji, I was still at school and doing all my group projects and assignments and studying for my midterms and all this stuff. I drafted out like 10 different emails to send to like a couple professors, to send to like my group members and different projects, basically being like, hey, if you get this email, I'm not coming back. I can't tell you why, but I promise I'll be okay. I'll tell you, next quarter, everything's all good. But yeah, if you're getting this, I'm sorry, you have to do all my work for me. I'm dropping out. And I kind of wrote it like I was like, oh, I have to like write these emails just in case, but like takes more time, all these things. So I just wrote it kind of sloppily or whatever, expecting like I was gonna, delete them before they ever sent out. I get the call, or like get told I'm going to be playing. I call my mom. They gave me 1 5-minute phone call. So I called my mom, basically just be like, Mom, I'm playing. I need you to drop me out of school for this quarter. I also booked this flight on Southwest. I need you to cancel it so I get refunded. Bye. Thank you. And that was it.
That was it, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was it. There was someone there monitoring me, so I wouldn't say anything that I wasn't supposed to. It was like literally less than 5 minutes. And then I had like 3 days to mentally prepare and be like, I'm actually playing Survivor. And that night, like I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I was like, holy shit.
I mean, you got so much adrenaline like running through you. Like, I can't imagine.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
I couldn't imagine. Some people get told that they're playing an hour before the game starts. That would have been too much. I needed those 3 days to like ground myself. Otherwise I would have been running out there like a chicken with their head cut off,
Like just on season 49, there was Jason and MC. Yeah, she and Jason were an alternate, and I think they found out last minute, like
they did
24 hours before or something.
Yeah, I don't really know how the timing works, but I think they had even less time than me. And and that it is really hard because you have to like, I mean, like here's the thing. The game starts before the game starts in a way. Like you're in Ponderosa, you're all in the same area. At least for my scene, we're all masked up though. You're not allowed to talk to each other. They have watchers watching over you, but you can still look at people. You can give them like, like eyebrow raises or winks or whatever. Like you're trying to like subtly get in people's good graces. And like I feel like I was in a place before being told that I was going to play. I was like, I don't have the capability right now to be faking this and being all nice to people and smiling and trying to get them to want to work with me and all this stuff behind the scenes. But yeah, I can't imagine like having to make that 180 with just like hours left before playing.
I totally forgot you were an alternate until you said that. Like I knew it, but I completely forgot. What happened?
I'm telling you, I'm old news now. I'm 45, 5 seasons ago. I'm old era.
Do you know what happened to the person? Is that like public? Can you talk about it or no?
It's not public even to me. I don't know. All I know is
okay,
it was I don't know, some tall bearded dude who was there for a day and then got pulled. I think there's like a bunch of like theories of what it was. I don't think any of us really know. I think it was like, most of the time when they pull someone, it's because like they have like panic attacks or like they start having doubts and they're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Like I can't do this or whatever. And then they leave. So most likely it was like that because I don't think I saw him get like injured or anything like that. So
right. It's just crazy to think like not only did you play, but like you barely made it, right? Like you were an alternate, but like you got squeezed in at the last second, but it has affected your life so much. Like it's changed. It's allowed you to be with your girlfriend right now.
I know.
Or like, that's so cool.
No, it is insane. I've been dating Amanda now for over 2 years. And like, as far as I'm concerned, we're gonna be together, forever. So it's like crazy that like that person got brought to my life from something that was like such a crazy, unlikely, like the luckiest thing to have ever happened to me. And like it was not only just that I was able to play, but I feel like at that point in my life, it was like the perfect time. Like if it was earlier, I probably would never have met her. If it was later, who knows, like who we'd be seeing at that point, so like, it's just,
I think like when we were talking earlier, just like, that's why we love the game. Right. And I feel like that's why a lot of people love the game is because of what it does to you before, during and after. I mean, you learn so much about yourself, like while you're out there. You're out there with literally strangers.
No, I agree. I mean, I think Jeff says something along the lines of like, you come, to play the game, but then like you like the main takeaway is like the journey you get during it and the learnings you get. And everyone who plays like grows in some way or another because like you're forced to like do all these insanely high pressured things. And then after you finish doing it, you just get analyzed and talked about by, millions of other people. And you just have to like really learn to like be confident in yourself because otherwise you're just going to get ripped apart.
Yeah. I feel like this side of Survivor doesn't get talked about a lot or enough, really. You know what I mean? Was there ever do you think there was ever a moment where you forgot the cameras were there? Because like I've seen some BTS pictures, like on Instagram and stuff, and like you see like just the huge setup.
Those are pretty jarring. I remember seeing those before going out and be like, what on earth? Like, this isn't Survivor. Like, what is this? Like, might as well just play Big Brother or something. Like, there's cameras everywhere. It's insane. But you quickly forget about it. I think like by the time you go to bed the first night, they're not even a thought. Like, it's sort of like there's a ton of them. And the scariest, most like jarring moment for me was like getting onto the barge season 1 or like episode 1, where I was the first one to go on the boat. And I remember jumping over and looking up and like froze because there was literally like 200 cameras on this small boat, all pointed to me, like all different sides. They had these massive telescopic lenses. Some of them were filming on their phones. They're using GoPros, everything in between. It was like a line like 100 feet down of just cameras. And it was just like, at that point I like blacked out. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing right now? But then, you go off like, so at that point it's like a big deal. They have like the entire crew there filming you. Then you go off in your own tribes. You have, maybe like for a 6-person tribe, you've got like about 12 people there recording you or whatever. But like, and it still sounds like a lot and it is a lot, but like you do quickly forget about them because like, one, you're not allowed to talk to them and they're not allowed to talk to you. And if you try talking with them, they will tell you to shut up or, you get in trouble. Also, they have like zero impact on the game. So it's like, why would I waste my time in trying to interact with these people when like, they're not going to be the ones helping me vote out someone, or they're not going to be the ones that like, will help me win this game at the end of the day. I think the only times you kind of like use them in a sense is like, sometimes it's like, ooh, where, someone looking for idols, like, or am I looking, like, where should I look? Like you kind of look at them for indications of like, if I'm looking for an idol, I'll be like, ooh, where are they pointing? Like, maybe I got to look there. Maybe they're pointing at where it is. Cause you see all these like clips on like, like all these Survivor scenes where like, people are like, oh, I can't find the idol, looking around. And then like it zooms in right next to them. So
with a little like sparkle, like ding.
Yeah. You think of that when you're out there. I'm like, okay, I'm probably looking like an idiot right now. They're going to have like one of those dodo music scenes, and they're going to show me walking around right around it. And you start looking, but they are so well trained, these camera people. They will point at random shit so that you look over there and you spend time digging somewhere that there's nothing. They are really good at being stealthy. So if like you're sneaking up on someone to like listen in on a conversation, they're crawling too, even more quiet than you are, even like with all these like, 50-pound camera gear and all this stuff. But it's pretty crazy. But yeah, you forget about it really quickly because you get so sucked into the game and what you need to do to win the game and who you need to talk to and all these other things happening, that the camera people, it's like they're just there. And at night there's only one. So it's so much going on that you really don't think about it. And it's almost a like comforting though, knowing that they're there too, because it's like, especially at night, it's like, there's bugs crawling around, snakes in places. And it's like, they have these night cams and I'm like, okay, like if I'm right about to die, like they will not let that happen, So it's like, it's nice knowing that they're there, but yeah, you do forget about it, as crazy as it sounds, because there's so many there. Like you do forget about them. I think they want to give the illusion to people watching that like the cameras aren't there, that you're playing this whole game. So they don't like that.
They do a great job of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, did you watch not this most recent one, but last week's? Are you up to date? Well, spoiler alert, if anybody's listening and you didn't watch, I'm sure you did at this point, but just in case you didn't, but Zach Brown Band was there. And like when he was singing, it's funny, I was watching and everyone was like, are you going to sing for us? And it's like, in my mind, I'm just, it sounds kind of crazy. Like they're just like a bunch of little kids, like going to sit around like and just listen to like this guy sing.
Do they have like popcorn or something too? I don't even remember.
I think so. And then my girlfriend was like, do you think that like you're supposed to like stare at the person like while they're performing? Because like, when you're at a concert, right? Like with all the people, like you're looking just like right at them. It's like, but do you do that if you're, isn't that like interesting to think about? Like, do you do that? Like, I feel like that's kind of awkward. It's just him with a guitar.
No,
like 6 feet.
I was thinking, I was like, man, like, I'm so glad they did not do that reward for me. First of all, like, if he came in, one, I would have no idea who he was. And two, I could not name a song if like a gun was pointed to my head. I obviously have heard that chicken fry song, and like if you start playing, I'd be like, oh, cool. Like I know this song, but like, I would have been like, just give me some food. Like, give me Applebee's, give me literally anything. Some tacos. Like, I do not want to be serenaded. Like, I want to go to the reward with my tribe, and I want to talk strategy now that we're all fed and we're all happy. And this is the perfect time to kind of build some camaraderie and get some momentum going. Instead, I got to sit and listen to some dude sing to me. Are you kidding?
That's awesome. Speaking of food, you guys had the Survivor auction, right, for your season?
We did. Yeah. It was the first one to brought it back in years.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yours was the first when they brought it back. Yeah. So how was the food on the reward challenges, but like the Survivor auction specifically?
So the food on the reward challenge is amazing. I mean, like some of the best food that I've ever had. Obviously, I was like so starved. So like, if I ate it now, I'd be like, oh, this is great. But like, not life-changing. At the time, it was the greatest food I'd ever eaten. The auction, I think it was like a half step down in terms of food quality. I got so first I ate a fisheye, and then
oh yeah, dude. Wait, hold on right there, because I totally forgot. But now I remember, dude, you demolished that fisheye.
Oh, I needed the protein. Well, here's a little behind the scenes thing. So for that auction, because they were bringing it back, like, how can we make this like a new era twist to it? So they did this thing where whoever had the most money at the end of the auction lost their vote. And then they were also like, there's no advantages at this auction. So spend your money. And then you had to like go and like find money before the auction started to like accumulate it. So there was like a little mini game of like, how can I get, the best food and also not end up with the most amount of money? But obviously you don't want to piss anyone else off also. And at the time, Bruce, he had like $80 or something because he only found like one thing of money, like when we were all doing the hunt. And so his goal was like, I don't care what the item is. I just need to get rid of my money so I don't lose my vote. So the fisheye comes out and he's like $80. And obviously in my mind, he's like not my ally. So I'm like, I don't want him to spend his money. So I said 100. I ended up getting the eyeball. And like my whole thing, one of my biggest strategies going in was like, I need people to think that I'm dumb, that I'm just like this jock dude. I'm like, woo, like, not that woo is dumb, but like, give off that kind of surfer vibe, And so I won the auction for the fisheye. And I remember going up and being like, I have to convince everyone that I wanted the fisheye just because I wanted to experience eating it, not because I wanted to like, be strategic and make sure Bruce didn't have a vote or whatever. So I made this whole thing. I was like, oh yeah, like I love this protein, bit into it, turned into this whole thing. And yeah, it actually wasn't too bad, but yeah.
Wait, so that was, I thought you were genuinely excited to eat it. You weren't?
I mean, I was a little bit. I mean, like, it was like, cool, this is a survivor thing. Like I felt confident that they weren't going to poison me with some like rotten fisheye. And I was like, I need protein. Like I literally needed any sort of, because you share everything that you eat with all the everyone else. And at the time I was like the biggest guy there. So it was like, oh my, I need whatever I can eat right now, even if it's a fisheye. So I was fine with that. But it was like 80% was to kind of throw off the scent on my trail and just be like, I'm just this dumb dude who wants to eat a fisheye kind of thing.
Yeah. Was it cooked or was it just a raw? I don't remember.
It was raw. Right? Yeah, it was raw. And what was crazy is like, you think when you bite into a fisheye, like an eyeball, like it would just like kind of go into it, like you just bite into it. It wouldn't have much give. It would just like break. But it was like, there was like this thick membrane around it. And it was like, I tried biting into it and I couldn't pierce it. I had to like chew on it and like pierce it with like whatever that tooth is and just like really rip it out because it was just like, it was so tough. And chewing it, I was chewing on it for like 45 seconds before I could even swallow it because it was just like, it was just so chewy and like, it was not what I was expecting.
Reminds me of like Fear Factor. Did you ever watch old school Fear Factor with Joe Rogan where they have to like,
I actually, I've seen, here like one-off episodes, but I've actually just finished this season of like Fear Factor House of Fears that just came out.
Yeah, I almost started that the other day. I love Johnny Knoxville, but I didn't. Is it good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, they do a lot of like eating gross things and a lot of like pain tolerance things. I thought it was fine. There was like a little bit of strategy going on, but
you said you were that like you're into reality TV, at least now more than you were before. Have you seen that reality show on Netflix called, oh God, what is it called? The Millionaire or the $1 Million Case or something like that. Dude, it's so good and you gotta check it out.
Really?
So it's like, so everyone, I forget how many people there is. There's like, I don't know, we'll say 14 people and you're at this mansion, like this beautiful. So I will say in that aspect, it's totally not like Survivor, right? Like you're in a mansion, like you have to bring like fancy clothes and like you do dinners and stuff and there's challenges and stuff. But like everyone has a suitcase. And at the beginning of the first episode, someone has $1 million in their suitcase.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah. If you have the $1 million in your suitcase, you obviously don't want anybody to know because
they could steal it, right?
They could steal it. And then at the end of every episode, you pick like whoever you think has the $1 million. And then whether they have it or not, they go home. Like even if they don't have it, you do a unanimous vote and like say the most people vote for like, I don't know, Karen. If Karen has the $1 million, she goes home, but she also goes home even if she doesn't. And there's like lots of other twists.
And if you go home with $1 million, I'm guessing it gets put into someone else's case.
Right. And then, yes, sorry, I left that part out. That's a big part. Yeah. It gets like redistributed, kind of like an idol does after it's played. Yeah. Right? Like it just gets boop and then it's in somebody else's case. And then like the next day they wake up, everyone opens their case. And it's like at some point, like you don't want the money, at least for most of the game. Right. But then like as the game closer to the end, it's like you might want that money in the case. I don't know. Super.
That's
You should check it
interesting.
out.
That sounds fun. No, I love all these competition shows, and since dating Amanda, I've been introduced to not only these competition shows, but now we've been watching a lot of those dating shows and like all reality TV, the Vanderpumps and everything, which before I would have just laughed at and been like, "Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna watch that BS." But they're addicting,
I
man.
haven't watched
Reality
any of
TV
the
is.
Vanderpump, but my girlfriend, she watches like that one and then Love Island.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I've watched the last 2 seasons of Love Island now.
All those like housewives shows she
I haven't gotten
loves.
into that. My girlfriend's trying to get me on Salt Lake City. But I mean, that's the one where they had that person. I don't even remember her name, but then she became the Bachelorette, and then that was just canceled like
Mm,
a few days ago after it was already all filmed, like 2 days before it was supposed to air. So
gotcha.
I don't know, a bunch of dramatic people.
Gotcha. I was in actually have you seen the Squid Game one
Yes,
on
two
Netflix?
seasons. Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I applied for season 3 and I was actually in the casting process, but I'm gonna say now because I think I would have been notified by now. I think they're actually filming right now. But I was in the cat, dude. I was like super excited. I was like, oh, that'd be so cool.
Oh man.
Survivor's the end goal though for me. Like I'm
Oh, hell
I'm
yeah.
gonna get out there. Like
Yes.
like that's one of the reasons like why I started this podcast. Not that I think that this will help me in any way in like getting on the show, but more
I mean,
so
I think
just
I
learning
think
from
it
all you
would.
guys.
I mean,
And,
like it's like kind of that same thing. It's like it's just like you're learning and you're like getting these cool experiences, and it's like more stuff to talk about. And like I'm sure you've gotten better and better at like, talking and sharing your ideas, whatever from this. So
right. Yeah. When I went away to college first, like before I was even in business, I actually went away to school for cinema and screen studies. And I wanted to make movies, but I was like,
wow.
I did a semester of it and it was awesome. Like I loved it. I learned, I took a screenwriting class, video production, all sorts of stuff. But I was like, what am I going to do? Like when I graduate, like unless I move to like LA or New York City,
Yeah.
I kind of felt like, and I live in upstate New York. Like, so I'm 5 hours from the city, but I was just like, what am I going to do? So I kind of
Yeah.
changed. And then long story short, yeah, I'm a project manager. I work remote, but I just started up a videography business.
Oh, that's
Cause that's like, yeah, that's always been like my thing is just video. So kind of just, and I feel like honestly, dude, Survivor has been a big part of that. Like just
Mhm.
seeing all these people out there, like going after what they want, seeing what it's done for them. Like it's crazy.
I love that, man. No, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
What was the hardest part about returning home and trying to go back to normal? Like you're out there for 26 days, like you don't have a phone, you're stripped of
Oh,
all your people, everything. How did you adjust when you came back?
yeah, that is a good question. And it was just such a abrupt, hard transition because after the game ended, went back. It was like final tribal went until like 1:30 a.m. I didn't get to Ponderosa till 3 a.m. Ate a bunch of food, showered, brushed my teeth, which were like, that took like an hour because I was just so freaking filthy. Went to bed at like 5 a.m. and then we left the next day at like 5 p.m. So and like back to the States. So like there was just such a quick turnaround. I had no time to chill at Ponderosa. All of a sudden I just jumped straight into back to real life. And I remember when I first got back, I opened the door into my apartment. So like I was in Chicago at the time, I didn't have family there. I just like was in grad school. So I just, went on the train back to my place. I didn't have like my mom pick me up or my girlfriend or whatever. Went back to my apartment, I was super tan. I was like, I lost 25 pounds. Like I opened the door to my room or to like my apartment, and like my roommates are studying for midterms on the kitchen table. And I'm just like, oh my, like I could not think of a single thing that sounds worse to me right now than having to like study for an exam like 24 hours after playing Survivor. Like I would not be able to focus to save my life. And I pretty much for the first week back, I kind of just like locked myself in my room, and like I like my social battery was at like negative 10,000 because I was like at just like 150% for like a month straight. And I just like locked myself in my room, and, I was eating a ton and just like trying to relax. But it was just like, it was definitely overwhelming. Like opening my phone and, having hundreds of missed messages and calls, and people wondering if I was okay, or like, there was a rumor going around that because I told people that I was going to a wedding in China because I thought I was only be gone for like a week and a half. I ended up coming back. People were like, oh my God, like Austin got arrested. He's in like some Chinese prison right now, like blah, blah. And like, it was like answering all these people, telling them I'm okay, talking to like my family. And then it's like, also like, I can't tell anyone what happened. Like you sign these like $5 million NDAs. And it's like, I just went through this crazy experience. I can't talk to anyone about it. I am just so exhausted. I'm like, it was, so like I ended up leading a lot on like my cast members, and we talking through all that stuff. And then like, like 2 months or like 2 weeks after that is when I started my summer internship. And I remember like going to work like that first week, and it was just like my head was still so in the Survivor space. And I was like, I can't focus. It's so hard to focus. Like, I just want to keep checking my phone because my phone was like blowing up like, never before since coming back. And like, all of our cast is still talking and chatting. And like, my friends, like, I wasn't able to tell them exactly what was happening, but my closest friends, I told them like I was playing Survivor. I couldn't tell you what happened, but like I was out there. I'm okay. Just like so many things were happening. It was like so hard to focus and stay dialed in on like real life stuff. And it probably took a couple, like at least a month for me to like kind of get back into like real life afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine. It's like, I just got back from Mexico last week. We went on vacation at Cancun there, and it's only a week, but we had our phones there too, because like we had Wi-Fi and stuff. I remember going on vacation when I was a little younger, still like a late teenager, but it was where like, I mean, Wi-Fi was around, but it like wasn't really like a thing, I guess, because like you have a phone, but like it was pretty much useless. Like at least when I was like an early teen, when you were in a different country, and then you come back, and like you said, like you're just your phone ding 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 ding, like, and you're just flooded with dopamine, like.
Yeah, but it's also like, oh my gosh, like responding to all this is gonna take so long, and then I just get anxious and stressed about like all this.
That was another thing, because like when I started this podcast, I was like, I thought it was a great idea. I'm like, I not many other people are talking about it, but it's like, I'm like, how the hell am I going to get in touch with these people? There's, you know what I mean? Your guys' inboxes are probably just flooded with people, just fans. And
yeah, I'm really bad at responding on Instagram. Like I'll check, it is kind of overwhelming sometimes, but I'll check my messages like every few weeks or whatever, just to see if I'm missing anything important or whatever. And, I try interacting and all this stuff, but it just like takes so much time. And like sometimes at some point you just gotta like protect your peace, and like your free time is, but yeah, no, it's that was an adjustment too. It's just like, because I remember when like the season started, I would try to like respond to everything and talk to everybody and answer their questions and all this stuff. But then like I ended up spending just like unlimited screen time. Like I was on my phone like 80% of the day. And it was just like, it was too much, and it was not healthy. And I was like, I just need to like take a step back. And now I mainly use Instagram and stuff. It's just like, I'll post, what I'm doing every once in a while, and like, see what other people are doing. Every once in a while, I'll check messages, but I want to respond to everyone, and I want to like give my time to everyone, because I just feel so grateful for being able to play. And, I know people are just curious about the experience stuff, but it is a lot.
Yeah. Did you, I feel like I read somewhere that you received like negative feedback from some people online. Did you like, can you talk about that at all? You don't have to say like what they said, but like, before you go into it, I just want to say, and this more than anyone, because you guys, you have like your therapy stuff after the show and whatnot, but it's hard not to take those things personal. But I just really, it really irks me. And that is another reason why I kind of wanted to start this podcast, was because there's so much misinformation that goes around out there. And like, you guys are the only ones who know like what really happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a whole story behind the edit for sure. And like, I'm lucky in the sense where like most of my story was told. Like I got a good amount of confessionals and screen time, and a lot of people like their entire story or a huge part of their story is missing. And, for those people, I feel really bad for, and like they deserve to be like upset about it for sure. I think for me, my experience watching it was 80% was great. Like the fans liked me, like I was getting nice messages, like everything was all good. But then I remember it was the Emily vote out. So this was a vote where I tell D that we're gonna, people are wanting to vote out Julie. And then, they flip it, send home Emily. And I got after that, like that episode and the episode after that, and then obviously I lost in the finale, was just like, I remember after that episode specifically, it was like thousands of messages, comments, tweets. Like my most recent picture on Instagram, like every 30 seconds, someone new would comment being like, "You're like the biggest idiot, like worst player ever, like you're such a simp, like you're thinking with the wrong head, like you're so dumb, like they're just saying whatever they could think of, being like, wow, like you let some girl play you, like you little, bitch boy, whatever. I don't know. They were just like all these a bunch of things. And like for the most part, it's just like, yeah, whatever. Like you don't know who I am, like whatever. But it during this week and the week after that, it was like so much. It was like, wow, like this is gonna be my legacy in Survivor. Like when people think of me, they're gonna think of this like, loser dude or whatever, and like all these horrible things. And it was just like all these messages I was getting, all these posts on Reddit and Twitter and like everywhere I looked, because at this point I'd been so like in Survivor where like my entire algorithm on every single app that I had was Survivor. So I'd open up anything and I would just see a bunch of mean comments about me or posts and all these things. And it got like overwhelming for a little bit. Like obviously it's all good now and it's like a part of the experience. And like, unless you're the winner, you're gonna have an episode where they dunk on you, right? Like explaining why you lost. So just part of the experience. But just like, it's very hard to like it's very easy to like kind of just be like, this is like, to think it's bigger than it is and be like, wow, everything I'm seeing now is about this. Like everyone must think that I'm a loser. Like no one's going to respect me anymore. Like, no one's going to want to hire me. Like all these things are just like, oh my gosh, like this is horrible and horrible. And it happens to everybody. Like Emily, after episode 1, was the most hated person on the season by far. And then she ended up becoming a fan favorite. But like she would say that like that one episode, the reaction from the fans like outweighed all the positive that came after that. I don't know if she still believes that. I mean, obviously now she's on 50, having a great time, but like it is hard, especially because when it's happening, you really do feel like it's huge.
Yeah, and even though, like you said, like 90% of the messages you receive could be good, but it's just human nature. And, to look at those negative ones and just be like, wait, is that true? Like, is there any truth to that? People suck, man. Like people just suck.
Yeah, no. And the thing is, it's like 99% of Survivor fans are awesome. I think Survivor has one of the best fan bases. I mean, when you compare it to like even like a Big Brother or like The Challenge or any of the dating shows, they're way more toxic. And it's like they're way harsher on people. And like these dating shows, like I can't even imagine like people are like talking about how horrible of a person you are, or how ugly you are, whatever it is. And it's like, it's just crazy that people just like comment this stuff to people. Like, because like the thing is like the 99% of the great fans, like probably only 1% of them are really commenting things, where like, of that 1% of evil, angry fans, like half of them are out there, messaging.
Yeah. Speaking of Emily, she on season 50, she's killing me with her and Christian, because Christian was like, she keeps like spilling the beans on like Christian's plans, and I'm like, Emily, come on, man.
No, it is funny, and I can't help but to think, I'm like, man, Emily, so like you're going off of your first time playing, and like the first time she played was when she was like teamed up with me and Drew, and then she got burned in the end. Obviously, like she got sent home as like kind of like a ricochet fire, just like hit her in the end and knocked her out. And I think I'm almost like, man, is she like scarred from that? Like, is she terrified working with Christian and with Devins because she thinks that they're going to do something similar? And who knows, maybe they are. Like, so I'm that has been really fascinating to watch, because she's just like so hesitant on these two guys.
Yeah. There's been a lot of good entertainment though so far with 50. Like Christian pooping his pants, dude. I laughed.
That was insane. It leave like only Christian can poop his pants and
And
then by
own
the
it
end of
in
the
the edit,
episode,
dude.
like save it and like be like that's just like one thing that happened among like 5 other awesome things that like that's not even like any other person in Survivor history. They poop their pants in a scene. That's their entire Survivor legacy. That's who they
100%.
are. That's how you remember them. But even just that one episode alone, Christian, with falling down so people are distracted at the idol and like the way he was talking to Joe behind the net, and so like there was so many iconic things that it was like, oh, and he also pooped his pants, but
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
and he's a great storyteller. I could listen to him talk all day.
No, he's amongst the very, very best. And you know who else is amongst the very
Drew.
best? Drew. Yes.
I knew you were
Drew
going to say that. Yeah.
I mean, like, that was one of the main reasons I was like drawn to him was just like listening to him talk. I could like, you're miserable and you're starving and you're tired and you're stressed. I could sit and listen to that man talk like all day. And he was so funny, made me laugh so hard. No, he's great.
I tried to get him on the podcast and he reached out back to me, but he was like, yeah, I'm kind of Survivored out. I was like, I get it, man.
No, he was part of the 50 casting process, and
was he?
He was, yeah. So he had to be like he was super in it for a while, and he got cut towards the end. And then like he's also been doing Jeopardy, and
dude, I saw him on Jeopardy like a few weeks ago. And I knew he was on there before, I feel like, but I saw him and I was like, holy shit, I forgot he's such a smart dude.
Multifaceted. This guy can do it all. He got Drew and he's got Basile and everything in between.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love trivia. Like I love watching Jeopardy. I'm not the greatest at it, but like
I'm so bad at it. That's why I watch things like The Floor. It's like trivia for dumb people.
I've never heard of that. What's that?
It's a Fox show. Basically, it's like you go in and there's like 100 people in this like grid, and like you each have like one area of expertise. And it's like some random thing. So it could be like, currencies, or it could be like sports teams, or, whatever it is. And then you like duel someone in their expertise like area. And it's like, you might have seen clips online, but they'll like say someone's expertise is like, birds, or whatever. Then they'll show a picture of like a parrot. And then whoever says you have to say parrot as fast as you can. Then it goes to the next person and they'll show like a picture of a flamingo, and like your timer's going down as you're like thinking and stuff. And you're not, but
that's interesting. I like those games like that. Like you ever see 1 versus 100? I don't know if that's still on anymore, but I've
heard of it. I haven't watched that one though.
Yeah.
Weren't there some Survivor players on that? I don't know.
I don't know actually.
Maybe that was a different one, or like 100 to beat or something like that.
There's so many game shows out there, and I'm like,
I feel like reality TV is on a
it really is, dude. It's like honestly, I think like the new thing, man. Like not that it was ever like obsolete, but I just feel like people these days are craving more just authenticity and like real.
I agree. I totally agree, and I love watching people go through crazy like experiences on camera, like obviously, getting blindsided, you get to see like just such raw emotion. And it's like, you can't see that like in a scripted show or like on like a dating show, like seeing someone get broken up with on TV. And you're just like, wow, how are you going to react to this? Like, what are you going to do now? Like, how are you going to respond? It's just like, it's so fascinating to watch people like have to deal with like the most insane crap, like on camera.
There's that one on Netflix. It's called, do you see it? It's called, I didn't watch it, but I've seen it on there. It's called Neighbors.
No, I haven't seen Neighbors.
So this is just like literally just like crazy neighbors. I feel like everybody else telling somebody about this. I feel like everybody has a crazy neighbor story. Maybe not everybody, but like a lot of people, right? Like, cause like neighbors are kind of crazy sometimes, but it's literally just like, I don't even know how they found these people, if they had to apply for it and be like, dude, I got this crazy ass neighbor. But anyway, it's just real, like a reality TV show about people and their neighbors who are just whatever crazy, and they're just causing mayhem and nonsense. And it's like, you could watch that forever. It kind of reminds me of like Cops. Like I always loved Cops.
Oh yeah. There's so much good TV out there. I remember when I was a kid, my favorite reality show, and there was only one season that came out. It was called Kids Nation.
Never heard of it.
It was insane. And the premise was so crazy that's probably why they only have one season. But basically, it's like you take a bunch of kids and you throw them into this like deserted ghost town, and they have to like build a society together
Oh,
and win prizes and stuff. And it's like, every they're like divided into like four teams, and then like every week they like battled in some challenge where like the winning tribe became like the chiefs of the town, and they didn't have to do anything, and they got like the most money, and the losers were like they had to clean the toilet bowls and whatever. And it was entertaining. It was
yeah,
crazy.
that sounds entertaining, and it's like pretty. I feel like that'd be really interesting to watch because like kids, they're not fully matured yet. They don't
Yeah.
they don't have a job. Like they're kids, so it's
No,
like
there's temper
who's
tantrums and
yeah, and like who's gonna take the leader role? You know what I mean? Like who's gonna
exactly. Some Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts who are like trying to, help lead
exactly.
things and stuff like that. But yeah,
Exactly.
besides that, it's like it's a mess. So
Yeah.
it was fun.
How do you feel about your showmance with D? Right? Like if you could go back, would you
Yeah,
not have it?
that's a good question.
Because I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I know a lot of
Yeah,
people are like against showmances, but I guess it depends though. Because for you, I feel like it just happened naturally. You know what I mean? Like you weren't
yeah,
out there like trying to look for something. You kind of just like fell into it.
yeah. No, I like it is interesting because I don't think it really like I would say 99% of the time you don't want to be in a showmance. It'll hurt your game, you'll get burned, blah blah blah. I don't think it necessarily hurt my game because like it wasn't something that it was like day one. We were like linked up and all that stuff. It was like not until like day like I don't even know 18 or something out of 26 where we were kind of just like oh, we maybe like each other a bit. Like, what do you want to do with that? But like, we were very good at separating it from the game for the most part, where like we didn't really hang out during the season. We weren't one on one a lot of the time. Like we were kind of like focused on our gameplay and the games that we were playing and like the relationships we have with other people. At the end of the day, like the biggest benefit of it was like knowing like, all right, I've got someone who's got my back who will not vote me under any circumstances. Like I've got that person locked down. Like I can
Mm.
focus on my relationships with everybody else because of that. So that was kind of nice. And it is also it is really nice being there with someone that you feel like you can trust. And I was lucky that I had such a tight 4-person alliance. So it was like, Drew and I, like we told each other everything. I was very close with Julie for also like 90% of the season until we started all gunning for each other. But yeah, like I don't regret it. I think it was like a very important part of my entire story. I guess like what annoys me about it maybe is just like how it gets kind of like interpreted now. Like they're like people being all like, oh, like you lost because you let her take advantage of you, or you were just like simping for her, all these things, and like you're the worst player ever because like like yeah, you just got played by her. I was like, listen, like I treated her as I treated Drew. Like it was someone who I wasn't going to vote for. It was someone who I was going to ride with like throughout, and someone that I wasn't going to lie to because I knew that like for the most part they would have my back. Obviously, D did lie to me at that one point, and then you know what? I sent Julie home the next day after that, or 2 days, or whatever. But yeah, I don't really regret it. I guess it's just like unfortunate now that I think that like a lot of my story, when people think of it or want to talk about it, is like around her.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I'm like, you probably not the same exact question I asked, but you probably hear about it a lot.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure, for sure.
but I agree with you. I think you handled it well, and it's unfortunate that she did end up lying to you. I mean, do you have any harsh feelings toward that? I feel like you wouldn't, right? Because like at the end of the day, like everyone's there to win the game themselves. Like you're not.
Exactly. And I do think that like we were in the same position, but we were in slightly different positions where it happened to her after it happened to me. I think if it were likely, it would have been a similar like outcome, as in like I would have done something similar. I think like where we were in the game when I told her about the vote to send home Julie, it was one round too soon for me, where I didn't want to take a shot yet at Julie, but my like true number one, Drew, really wanted to. I was worried that like if we were to send home Julie, not only would I lose Julie, who I knew was on my side, but I would also lose D from lying to her. And I felt that it was too early in the game when we were at 6. At that point, we send home Julie, and then we're at final 6. There would be enough people that that were angry at me that they could then turn it against me. Whereas when she made that decision, was already at the final 6, voting out Drew, she gets to a final 5 position with the numbers. So it was like, had it been one round later, I wouldn't have told D either. So
Yeah.
it just was unfortunate that it like played out that way. But yeah.
So I was going to ask if you were in the running for 50.
Yeah, no, I was actually told that I specifically was blacklisted for season 50 because they didn't want to deal with that. But I mean, obviously playing would be a lot of fun, but I do think that there's a big difference between playing with a bunch of other rookies who haven't played before and then playing a returning season. And I don't think being in a returning season will be nearly as fun. I think
I agree.
Part of the beauty of Survivor is like you get thrown into an island with a bunch of people you don't know, they don't know you, and you just have to figure it out and like duke it out from that. I think when it gets to the point where everyone knows everyone, everyone studied everyone is like, pre-gaming and all that stuff too. It's like, it's a completely different game. And I think that type of game I'm much worse at. And yeah, I think like ideally, like if I were to be able to play another season, I would love to do like a captain season or, like something mixed in with other rookies or like, maybe Australian Survivor where I'm playing with a bunch of other people who like probably don't know me as well. I don't know them.
I agree with that. I'm like, I'd rather just like, I'll watch returnee seasons and whatnot, but I'd much rather just watch a bunch of randoms because that's the game. Like that's that's one of the most compelling and interesting parts of the game is just sticking these random people. And like going back to, you said something earlier and I just want to say like, it's how important it is, I think, for anyone listening in the casting process to just be yourself and like, who you really are, you know what I mean? Because like when you're out there playing the game, like you're not going to be acting like, so if you're filming your video worried about, like what to say or like, just let it go. Just like be yourself. Just, And I think I definitely screwed up on my first video. I was like, I wrote a script. I didn't read from it, but like I wrote a script and I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to say. Like I was trying to memorize it.
No, the first time I applied, I like spent time like, what can I say to like make them want to cast me? And I like wrote it all down. I was like, I can't miss this point, can't miss that point. Like I remember I set up like a little camcorder and I like pasted my like notes underneath it on the tripod. Not like I couldn't read it all, but like I would reference it or whatever or look at it. Or it was just like you want to be natural. You want to not come over prepared. Like they want to just see you like this is what it's like hanging out with like they want you to give off the vibe like you're just hanging out with your best friend at a bar. And like they want you to be yourself, yes, but they want you to be like the most energetic version of yourself. Like they want you to like be excited and like loud and you're making hand motions and you're inflecting your voicing and all that stuff. Like, because they want to know like, okay, this is what you look like now. Now, what would you look like if you are exhausted, if you're starving, if you're stressed out and you're on this beach? Because obviously your energy levels, your tank is going to be a third of what it is now. So if you're already sounding dry and quiet and like bored, like if you add on top of that everything that comes from playing Survivor, it's just going to be even worse. So they want you to be yourself, but like the most animated version of yourself,
right?
And
like yourself on crack.
exactly. And I'm not saying I'm like recommending this or saying you should do this, but there was someone on my cast who had a few beers before their audition tape just to loosen up. And if that helps you, go, maybe consider it. Do whatever you need to do to loosen up, because it is awkward talking to a camera by yourself.
Oh, so weird. Weird.
You get trained during the casting process because they make you say all these different things to the camera and you're talking to all these different people. But yeah, be yourself, be the most energetic, animated version of yourself. And you don't want to be, and this was what my casting director said to me like over and over again. It's like, you're not doing a job interview. You're not interviewing. Like so many people who come from a professional background or whatever, they treat these like a job interview. It's not that. You truly just want to be like hanging out with your best friends at a bar. You want them to leave this being like, wow, like I had a good time. Like I want to talk to this person more. As opposed to like, yeah, like they've got everything needed to like be on Survivor. It's like, it's just like, it's a vibe thing.
100%. Yeah. I think one of the biggest tips I've had, I forget where I saw it, probably on YouTube somewhere, but it's just when you're talking to the camera to just like try and imagine like your best friend on the other side of the camera.
Mhm.
Like, and I know it's hard and it sounds easy, but it is difficult to do. But since starting like this YouTube channel, and a couple other ones, like I remember when I first started, I'm like, it's not natural, right? Like you're in a room by yourself. You're like, even though no one is looking at you, you feel like everyone is looking at you and like all eyes are on you. And it just feels weird.
Yeah. Some of the funniest, most charismatic people that I know, you put a camera in front of them and it's like done, shot. It's like as if like they're a completely different person. And you just got to like train that muscle and practice it. When I was doing my audition tape, I was like picturing myself like giving a confessional on an island. So I remember I was like sitting on a rock, you know, had my legs out, like as if I was positioned for confessional. And I was like convincing myself, like, I'm on Survivor. I'm giving a confessional about my life. Like this will be what they show for the intro pack or whatever, you know, and like, I was just talking and whatever.
Do you remember what you talked about in your video?
Yeah. So basically I spent like, so it's like 3 minutes. I probably spent like, first 15 seconds, you need to just hook them in. Like, it doesn't really even matter what you say. You just got to like bring in super high energy. So like my first like 10, 15 seconds of the video is just like a selfie video being like, what's up? Like, my name's Austin. Like, I am so stoked to be applying, like blah, 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 or something. I was like, you know, the last 3 dreams that I had, like was, you know, Jeff Probst in there. Like, I need this so bad, whatever. You know, just like a quick thing, whatever. And then it was like cut to me sitting on this rock, giving a confessional. And I was like, probably spent, you know, like 30, 40 seconds doing like a quick background up to speed. Like, yep, I, you know, grew up here. I do this now, whatever, whatever. But like, you want to say it also in a way where you're like telling stories as opposed to just being like, you know, like, yeah, you know, like I grew up in San Jose and then I moved to Indiana and then I moved to DC and like, you know, I'm, you know, 6 foot tall and I weigh that, whatever. They want you to like tell stories. So I remember I told this like story and like, there's a couple, sorry, I'm saying so many things at once. So
no, you're fine. You're fine.
You are a little bit. They also, I think what's important and what helped is like, they want to show like to see your layers. Like they want to understand like how people perceive you and how that's different from how you actually are / maybe how you'd be able to utilize that. So like my thing there was sort of like, yeah, like, you know, I come across as this like broy dude, you know, surfer guy from California, but like, you know, I'm, you know, smart, I'm academically focused. Like at the time I was working like in DC, like doing economic consulting with a bunch of these like, you know, attorneys and like government people. And I was like, you know, talking about all that. And it's like, you would never guess, blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, I like flashed through all their faces and stuff like that. And they want to hear about your layers. And then one thing that they're really interested in and something that like they needed me to like tell stories of this during the interview process was that like they are skeptical a lot of times with these like nice people and professional people be like, do you really have what it takes to like backstab someone? Like tell us a time where you like stepped over someone to get what you wanted. So like having a good story for that. I remember I told this story about how like in 8th grade, I really wanted to join the volleyball team, but I, you know, during tryouts, I didn't do very well. And like, basically like I was put into like this court with all the people who are going to get cut. And then the next day I snuck into the coach's office and I erased my number and someone else's number because we were on these different lists and I swapped them. I ended up making the team.
Dude, that's awesome.
Awesome, but like pretty
so
sketchy.
Funny.
You know,
it is sketchy.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, now it's enough time has passed where it's like fine, I can share it. But yeah, they wanna know like you're not just a nice guy. You're not just like, you know, there for the experience. Like you are going to be making big moves. You want to like have fun and really take advantage of the full experience. And that you're not going to quit. If they have any inkling that you might quit, they're not going to want you. And you have to really convince them that like, hey, like, no, I'm in it. I can suffer. I've done hard things. So they like hearing about like the challenges you've overcome. hard things you've been through, times where you've, maybe taken advantage of someone else or whatever.
No, 100%. Thank you for that insight. I like that a lot. But I
Yeah,
think that the biggest thing that everyone struggles with is just being yourself, which is the
exactly.
hardest thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to be yourself, but like you also kind of have to show these different things where it's like I wouldn't describe myself as someone who like will step over people's backs and like screw people over or whatever, but it was like I know that that's what they wanted and I have done it. And the casting directors are so good that they'll really like understand you and like they'll know that you're a nice guy, but like when you need to, you'll do what needs to be done kind of thing. Like most people have got some crazy stories that you just have to figure out the right way to tell it. And
Right.
then
I feel like kind of like you touched on it a little bit earlier, like no matter what I say, like you just want to focus on like getting certain things out, and then like you get
exactly.
wrapped up in that. I struggle from that a lot because I'm like, I want to say this and this and this, but it's like
No, same,
can't
same.
like
And it screwed me over the first time and almost second time too. I like before I sent in my second video, I scrapped the whole thing and redid it because it was just like it felt so much like I was giving like a PowerPoint presentation of everything that you need to know about me. When really the most important thing that they need to know from the video is like, would you like potentially be good TV? And then you have like, the next step really is like you fill out this form, this 7-page form where you answer a lot of these questions where you can put all this background information that's like less interesting, but it's like helpful for them to know. And then you like have these like hour-long conversations with your casting person where you can then share all these things. But like when you only have 3 minutes, like don't waste it listing facts about yourself. Just like think of the most entertaining tidbits of stories and info that you can say and like throw it out there. And one of my good buddies here in LA, Zach Wertenberger, I thought he had the one of the coolest ways that I've heard of like making a casting video. Basically what he did was one weekend, he just went to his backyard, set up a camera and recorded himself for like 4 hours a day for like the entire weekend and then condensed it down to like the most entertaining 3 minutes of it.
that's a good
And then
idea.
submitted that and it was good. Cause like, and that's something like too, if you're like shy in front of a camera, have it recording so long you forget about it and just like, just start talking to it, do different things. And like, I'm sure if you record yourself for 10 hours, you'll be able to find 3 good minutes.
You'll get something good out of it.
Yeah.
That's a really good tip. Nice. I didn't think about that because I've kind of just like, I mean, like I said, I think like you did when you said you had your notes, like I had like a couple note cards that I wasn't reading from, but referencing. I think this next time I'm just literally just gonna just go out and tell a story. And that story, I was getting to it earlier. So I actually dove through a window in the middle of my sleep. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So
What?
I was living in an apartment at the time with my ex-wife. We weren't married at the time. We were just dating, but
See, all great things to tell in the story.
yeah,
Like you jump through a window while sleeping with your ex-wife.
exactly.
That's
So
the sentence that I'll get.
I was literally what year was it? It was like 2019, I think. Not that that matters, but I was watching like the night before, I was watching Fear the Walking Dead. Love The Walking Dead, the whole series, whatever. And in the episode, there was like a bomb at this dam and like it blew up or something. And I had like a beer, right? Like I wasn't drunk. I just had a beer while I was drinking, whatever. Go to bed. And then apparently, I don't even know, an hour, 2 hours later, like into sleep, I got up. We were on the second floor and
Oh my God.
I didn't open the window and like jump through it. I literally Supermaned, like dove through the glass window, broke the pane glass, everything. Hit like the awning, like just outside the window. And then I fell from the top down like 13 feet onto the ground. And
at what point did you wake up?
I woke up, I feel like halfway through it. It was crazy. And like, when you wake up and you're like, you're just so out of it and fuzzy, you like don't know if you're still like dreaming or if you're awake. So it was like that. And then I hit the ground. Luckily it was grass. And I think it had like rained the night before. So like the ground was kind of soft. And I hit the ground on my back and I'm just in my boxers at this point. Like, and I'm like, I lay on the ground on my back and I'm just like, looking around, and then I look up, and my ex sticks her head through the window, and she's like, Aaron, and just screaming, like, what the fuck? I'm like, like, I don't know what's going on. So I get up, go inside. She comes downstairs, unlocks the door. Ironically enough, we live like at the time, it was like a block away from the police station, right?
Wow.
So I'm like, she opens the door, lets me in. I'm looking around because like I'm just in my boxers, and like I got a cut on my back, like a couple ones on my hand. So like I'm bleeding.
Gosh.
I go upstairs in the shower, dude, it looked like a horror scene. You know what I mean? Like I'm just showering. There's just blood all over the friggin' tub. I'm like, what the hell? So, and then like 5 minutes later, the doorbell rings, right? And I'm like, meanwhile, keep in mind, this is like 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, what the who's ringing the doorbell? So I go downstairs. It's the cops, dude. So the cop is like, hey, we heard some glass breaking. Is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I just dove through the window in my sleep. And he's like, what? So of course they come in. They're asking us all. They pull us apart immediately, me and my ex, and they're like, or were you guys fighting? You know, because they're thinking like domestic abuse. Like maybe she threw me out the window. I don't know. And I was like, no, I just jumped through the window. And then I went to the freaking hospital because I fell like more than 12 feet. So I had to go get checked out. I had like an MRI and stuff. And luckily I didn't have any serious problems. Like I had some cuts, but they healed up pretty easily, and I didn't need stitches or anything. But I remember riding to the hospital with my parents, and I was like in the back of the car with my ex too, and I'm just like shaking like in the back, like because it was just like I was in shock, and like I didn't really feel anything. And then when I got to the hospital, it just felt like my body had been like hit by a bus, like my whole body, like it was like, you know, when you work out really hard and the next day your body, it was like that, but like times like 10.
That is so scary.
Long story short, I went and I got my I could have broke my neck, like could have fucking sliced my wiener off, like
no. See, that is a great story. Absolutely tell that.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to like, but do I include like anything else like about Survivor, or should I just
I don't know, maybe
a story?
If there's a way to condense it to like a 30-second segment in it, and then if they like it, they'll have you talk to it more, you know, and like with casting and all that stuff. And like that's a great story to whip out at final rounds of casting is insane. You pretty much, you have 10 minutes and you're in this chair in front of all production. There's 40 people in front of you, and it's kind of like an open forum interview. For like 10 minutes. And that's the kind of story that would get you casted.
But isn't that nuts, dude? And then I went and I got a sleep study done, and apparently I have REM sleep disorder, which like it affects less than like, I don't even know, it's like 0.01% of the entire population. God. And it's basically when normal people, when you sleep, your body goes into REM sleep and your body goes into paralysis, and like you can't move. Mine doesn't. And when I go into REM sleep, I act out my dreams. I haven't done anything like crazy similar since then, luckily. But I remember this one time in college, I went to sleep like in my floor. I was in a dorm. It was a 10-floor dorm. I was on the 7th floor. Went to bed. I was like real drunk. I don't know. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But I went to bed, and then I woke up on the 5th floor in the girls' bathroom, like peeing in the toilet. I'm like, wow.
Oh no,
dude. Yeah, I woke up and I'm like, dude, where am I? Like, I don't.
See, that's what you start with. Like, I have this like REM sleeping disorder that 0.001%. Like when I sleep, I act out my dreams like that. Bam. Then you lead into that story.
Like the season, I really connected with Ben from season. What season was he on? 46. Yeah, 6. Because if you remember, like he was having like night terrors and like waking up, and he's like, I kind of have that sometimes too. I've had that where like you just wake up and like my heart just feels like it's like beating out of my chest, and it's weird, dude. I can never explain this feeling. It just feels like I'm dying. That's the only thing I can like say, is that it feels like I died, and like I don't know what's going. It's scary, man.
That is scary.
But luckily, anything hasn't, nothing's like that has happened since. And
lock all the windows, bar them down.
Maybe like we actually did put bars. We actually did, my ex and I, we put bars on the upstairs window when we were still living there. Now I live in a ranch, like a 1-story, so it's fine.
Oh, cool.
We're
You're
good.
safe.
We're good. I'm
Yeah.
safe.
Wow.
But yeah, it's always just like, I love those types of stories too. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like everybody's got, maybe you didn't jump out a window, but like you have something crazy that happened.
Something crazy has happened to everybody, right?
Yeah. Dude, I had so much fun talking to you.
No, this was a lot of fun. No, it was the time flew by. The only reason that I know that it's been time is that I need to pee. As I've been making this thing, I was like, okay, it couldn't have just been 30 minutes. But no, this was a ton of fun.
Yeah. All right, well, I will link your Instagram, stuff down in the description, and these guys can see where you're up to if they're interested. And we'll talk to you soon, brother.
Awesome. Sweet. Talk later. Thanks everyone for listening.